to watch him just go through high school, and that was pretty neat. And so, because of this, I got to know him a lot, and it didn't really take long to see his warm heart and passionate soul. I watched him graduate high school. I was there, and I helped him get a job there where I was working. I told the director that this young man is not going to disappoint me. And I was right, because the years that he worked there, the director and he became pretty good friends. So hopefully he's watching it streaming from the other side of the world. Anyway, those years of working together with Jonathan, it was like 7 years. I'm sorry, I mean 7. I guess you know that. 7 years. And I think those were my best years with Jonathan. Because I got to see him every day. Every day for 7 years. My goodness. So I got to know him very well, his family, his mom, my children's grandmother. She watched them since they were infants. She would do anything for them, and I loved that. I loved them very much. They're my family. But anyway, those were my best years together. So we used to go to lunch almost every day. Almost every day those 7 years. The first time I asked him for lunch, I said, "Hey, Poodle, you want to go to lunch with me?" And he said, "Yeah." And he was thinking about what was around Gainesville High School, you know, the building next to it. He said, "I'm going to Taco Bell, or I'm going to Subway." And I'm like, "Oh no, Poodle. We're going to look down to order, not up." He liked that a lot. In fact, I think he used that line on me plenty of times. So, we became regulars at the 43rd Street Deli. It used to be on 13th Street. And we'd go there all the time. And, I'm going to put it back in a second so I don't have to do that. Anyway, we had great conversations there. The depths of our conversations, you know, because you all are very close to him, were incredible. It didn't matter that there was 18 years between. That just went away. So, mostly we talked about life, which humans usually do. I used to tell him a lot that my favorite quote about life was a professor I once had. She said, "You know, life is not a dress rehearsal. You need to find an exquisite moment every day." And we talk about that. We'd be like, what are these exquisite moments? I don't think they exist. But we did, you know, we took that through an evolution, and we decided that these exquisite moments, and we like to call them divine moments in the ending, were those sorts of things where someone pulls the door on before the elevator shuts, or you find that loose change because you've been craving a Coke all week. And of course, more modern, somebody that usually lurks on your Facebook page finally leaves a comment. Those are exquisite moments, and we decided we should find those every day. And you know, even 17 years later in our relationship, he would ask me about those exquisite moments. But see, the part I loved most about Jonathan was that he was already kind of in the know about life, even to dress a person. He kind of knew that already. He liked to simplify it to me and say, "Lisa, live fully and boldly." And he modeled that to us like a teacher. Obviously, that's what he was, a great teacher. And here's how he taught that to me, probably to you too. I noticed that Jonathan was present in every second he was given. He took notice of those exquisite moments, and taking it to the extreme like only Jonathan can do, he would encourage us all to do the same thing. He told me once that everybody had a story that ought to be heard. And I noticed he did welcome the impact of others on his life journey. And that's what made us all feel so special to him. He learned about us, genuinely. That was a gift he had. It made us all feel like we were the secret David out of all of us. So he found those exquisite moments because he knew life wasn't a dress rehearsal. He lived fully and boldly and was present in every second. He filled a space that no one else could fill because of it. And his life stories were telling. Because of it. Well, it's your life to be that way too. That's why you can't do that. Well, you're all probably a secret thing. Anyway, next time you look in the mirror, look beside me now. You'll see a person you care about people. Genuine. Despite the mess we have right now. And maybe another mess you might be in on top of it all. I think we should encourage each other to live fully forward. Just like Jonathan thought. So, all I got, it's going to be hard to trust my skin. have that gift that he had, and if you do this, maybe our life story will be worth telling. So that's a pretty good legacy for the future. Thanks. Thanks.
Toby Vargas will be speaking next. John met Toby in Jacksonville on Toby's birthday. They had mutual friends, but had never met, but finally that happened at some unspecified event. Toby is a social media manager, mogul, promoter, photographer, has the haircut that I would like to have, but I would get fired for. So, Toby, you're on, buddy.
I'm going to warn y'all, if I lose it, bear with me. And if it sounds like I'm all over the place, when I wrote this, I didn't take my Adderall. Meeting Jonathan was a true gift in my life. If there were cliff notes on Jonathan and our relationship, it would highlight the following: laughing, jokes, drinking, sassiness, crotches, dancing, bears, attitude, comebacks, men, facial expressions, OCD, ADD, ambition, friendship, and above all, fireball. The first time I met Jonathan, we covered almost every single subject I mentioned except fireball. That came later. John came into my life on January 2011 at my birthday party, and I will never forget that day I finally got to meet John. I say finally because when we met, the first thing we both said, "It is so good to finally meet you." We had heard so much about each other, and our mutual friends were kind of perplexed on why we hadn't met yet, because they kept telling stories about us and how crazy we are. And at that moment, we started talking and understood why. John and I had a truly special relationship. We both were sarcastic, bitchy, and a weird sense of humor, and extremely social. We even had a courtship. Even though we talked a lot after we first met, he made me wait until May until we became official friends on Facebook. He even took his time as well to give me his phone number. I kept talking to him on Scruff. And when it's a gay app. And when he did, he saved himself as Jonathan Sokoloff, referencing Anna Kournikova. Because I'm awesome. Ever since then, we haven't stopped talking. And it's truly hard for me to stand here before you all and put into words how much he meant to me. John was more than my best friend. He was, and I quote, this is from Facebook, my brother of another father and mother of a different ethnic area. He was everything to me. We were each other's constants for almost 5 years. I can tell you a few things that he really liked about us. As many of you know, John could be a little intense sometimes, and opinionated, and boy, he effing was. And he truly enjoyed how this little Latin could stand up to him and shut him down in a second. We never got tired of joking around. We could sit there for a while and see who had the best and sassiest, quickest comeback. It was funny for us, but as both said, aggravating to many of our friends. He found comfort in us, that we could joke around and then turn into a serious conversation. And once we were done, he would bust out the most inappropriate joke about that conversation. Jonathan was a guy of many dreams, and one of them was to explore the world. He had this passion for life and for learning. The moment he he told me he was going to China, I was so proud of him. I'm so happy. He had tried before but didn't work out just the year before, and I told him not to give up and to follow his dream. I knew at that moment we didn't have a lot of physical time together, and we took advantage of any opportunity we had to hang out, either for breakfast, a walk, run errands, go to Walmart, even for just one drink. Well, there was never just one drink. We had this kind of relationship that when either one of us reached out to one another, we would answer, even in the middle of the night. During that time, John ran through a lot of emotions. He was so excited to go, yet so sad to be far away from his family and friends and the life he had built here in Florida. We had many deep conversations, and one of them that stands out today is the reality that we are experiencing today. He was so scared of people forgetting him and for something to happen to him. What would his family do? How would they cope or even be able to help him? Would anyone care? He shared a very real, vulnerable moment, and we had a few tears. And of course, I told him nothing is going to happen to you. I'm not a pretty crier. And I said, give me a break. No one's going to forget you. People love you. I'm so sorry. That was so Florida. Oh, God. I said, how could they... I told him nothing's going to happen to you, and give me a break. No one's going to forget you. People love you left and right. But if something would happen, I told him rest assured it would not be ignored. People will care and want to help. And at that moment, I looked into his beautiful blue eyes and promised him I would do everything I can to stay in touch once he left. And if I slipped, to ditch me out and call me out on it. He did that twice because I didn't talk to him for a week. It wasn't good. I'm almost done. One of my favorite moments with him was for his birthday before he left to China. I wasn't in town and I was pretty upset about it. So I decided to do something special, which Bo experienced as well. And I quote from his Facebook status. My friend Toby sent me to dinner at Rooster Chris Steakhouse while he was in Puerto Rico. It was so nice. I felt like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Shopping for a cocktail dress, except I'm not sleeping with Toby. And the steakhouse didn't turn me away. And that's one of the many reasons I love John, why I love John. He always had something funny to say. I have no words to really describe how much I miss him. We literally talk almost every other day or every day. We were each other's cheerleaders. He was my #1 cheerleader. My parents told me once that in a lifetime you get to meet a lot of people, but very few will truly connect with you to the core and become lifetime friends. And that's what John was to me. He was more than a friend. He was family to me. I'm sorry. I look really gay right now, too. Thanks for laughing. You're awesome. You did actually incredible person. Smart, compassionate, sassy, ambitious, loving, honest, and above all, as most of you all know, a faithful, loving friend. My best friend. And that's how I will remember him. I'll miss him so much. I'm still waiting to get a FaceTime while I'm at the bar drinking. As far as I know, he was the best birthday gift I could have ever received. That's it.
Jessica Wilt met Jonathan at a faculty breakfast at Mandarin Middle School, and they've been friends ever since. Aylin Toker met John through Jessica, also, okay, and they will speak next together.
John introduced me to this reading, and it became something very special between us. So thank you for letting me share it. I think a lot of you will connect with it. I put everybody that comes into my life in the category of a tree. Some people are the leaves on a tree. When the wind blows, they're over there. Wind blows that way, they're over here. They're unstable. When the seasons change, they wither and die. They're gone. That's all right. Most people are like that. They are not there to do anything but take from the tree and give shade every now and then. That's all they can do. But don't get mad at people like that. That's who they are. That's all they were put on this earth, a leaf. Some people are like a branch on that tree. You have to be careful with those branches too, because they'll fool you. They'll make you think they're a good friend and that they're real strong. But the minute you step out there on them, they'll break and leave you high and dry. But if you find 2 or 3 people in your life that are the roots, that are like the roots at the bottom of that tree, you are blessed. Those are the kind of people that aren't going anywhere. They aren't worried about being seen. Nobody has to know that they know you. They don't have to know what they're doing for you. But if those roots weren't there, that tree could not live. A tree could have 100 million branches, but it only takes a few roots down at the bottom to make sure that tree gets everything it needs. When you get some roots, hold on to them. But the rest of it, just let it go. Let folks go.
John was a root to a lot of us. Some people might say that John never met a stranger, but I think a more accurate statement would be that John only met besties. He was fantastic with the silliness and superficial parts of life, but he was even better with the real stuff. The outpouring of support and concern throughout the past month seems overwhelming, but if you knew John, you would expect nothing less. John showed up for all of us in a million big and tiny ways, and I think he would love that we showed up big time for him.
We're getting messages from China that we're